Have you ever looked in the mirror one morning and felt like the woman staring back at you wasn't quite you anymore? The face is familiar, the eyes are the same, but the light inside seems softer now, as if it's been dimmed over time. It's not the wrinkles. It's not the silver strands of hair. It's that somewhere along the way, we forgot how to look at ourselves with the same gentle eyes we once did. I'm a fashion designer. Over the years, I've worked with hundreds of women in their 50s and 60s. They don't come to me just for a dress. They come searching for that feeling of being seen again. Not as someone's mom or someone's wife, but as the woman they still are underneath it all. And every single time I see one of them look in the mirror, straighten her shoulders and smile, I'm reminded of something I deeply believe: beauty never leaves us. It just waits patiently for us to invite it back. Turning 50 isn't the end of allure. It's the moment when style becomes less about impressing others and more about expressing your strength. It's when fashion stops being a mask and becomes a declaration: I'm still here. I'm still beautiful, and I still shine. So if you, too, believe that beauty has no age, stay with me here on Bold After 50. Click like and subscribe so together, we, the first 1,000 bold women, can rewrite what elegance means. Not defined by youth, but by attitude. Because this isn't just another fashion channel. This is where we wake up the beauty that's been quietly waiting in your mirror. The perfect fit isn't about size. It's about how you feel in it. You know what I've learned after years of working with women in their 50s and 60s? Most of us choose safe. We reach for loose tops because they're comfortable. We pick longer pants because they hide what we don't love. And yes, it makes sense. Comfort matters. But sometimes, safe slowly makes us disappear. I remember meeting Linda, a lovely woman in her late 50s. She walked into my studio one afternoon, sat down, and said quietly, "I don't know why, but lately, nothing I wear feels like me anymore." She wore an oversized sweater, baggy trousers, and a tired little smile. So I asked her, gently, "Linda, when was the last time you chose something just because you loved it, not because it felt age-appropriate?" She thought for a moment, then laughed softly, "Maybe when I was in my 40s. And that, right there, is something I see all the time. Somewhere along the way, we stop dressing to express ourselves and start dressing to hide. We trade confidence for comfort, not realizing we can have both. Because the perfect fit isn't just about numbers, seams, or labels. It's about how you feel when you put something on, that little spark inside when you stand taller, smile wider, and move a little lighter. Try this. Take your favorite pair of pants. Do they bunch, sag, or hang too loose? Don't toss them, tailor them. A small adjustment at the waist, a cleaner hem, a better shape, sometimes that's all it takes to transform not just how you look, but how you carry yourself. If you love flowy tops, balance them with sleek pants. If you love structure, choose fabrics that stretch and move with you. Don't dress to hide your body, dress to honor it. Because when your clothes truly fit who you are today, something magical happens. You don't just look younger, you feel alive again. There's a light in your eyes, a lift in your shoulders, a rhythm in your step. And once you rediscover that sense of just right in what you wear, you'll start noticing it everywhere else too. In your posture, your energy, even your smile. Because style doesn't stop at your clothes. It begins with the frame around your face, your hair. Your hair isn't just hair, it's the frame of your face. You know what I've noticed after years of working with women? I can often tell how someone feels just by looking at her hair. Not because I'm some kind of magician, but because our hair is a mirror of our spirit. When it's flat, dry, lifeless, it often says more than words ever could. I still remember one quiet afternoon when Susan, one of my longtime clients, walked into the studio. She's in her early 60s, fair skin, kind smile, the softest eyes. But her hair hung straight and dull, like it had simply given up. She laughed and said, "I've had this haircut for decades. It's easy, I'm used to it." I smiled back and told her, "Susan, you're not getting older, your hair just hasn't grown with you yet." She laughed out loud, that kind of laugh that comes from surprise and recognition. And then she said, maybe you're right. So, we made just a few small changes. A gentle layer here, a bit of lift there, a few lighter strands framing her face. And when Susan looked at herself in the mirror afterward, she froze for a second. Not because she looked younger, but because she could see the spark in her own eyes again. That's the power of hair. It's the frame of your face, and when the frame changes, so does the entire portrait. As our faces soften and our expressions grow warmer with time, our hairstyle should evolve too. What once suited us perfectly may now feel heavy or lifeless. But with a few tweaks, a bit of bounce, some softness, a warmer tone, your whole face wakes up again. And if you have silver hair, don't rush to hide it. Silver, when it's healthy, shiny, and well-shaped, has a quiet sophistication that no dye can replace. It's not old, it's refined. Remember, healthy hair isn't hair that's forced into shape, it's hair that's loved. Trim it, nourish it, let it move the way you do. Choose a style that fits your energy today, not the version of you from 20 years ago, because hair isn't just there to cover your head. It's a soft declaration: I'm still here, still living, still beautiful, in my own way. And once that energy returns, you'll feel inspired to change a little more. Maybe a pop of color in your outfit, a delicate pair of earrings, or a pair of shoes that make you walk with confidence again. Because after the hair, it's those little details, the accessories, the shoes, the bag, that quietly tell the world your style is still evolving, and you're not done shining. The details that make the difference, Sometimes no one notices when you change your hairstyle, but add a pair of small earrings or a soft silk scarf, and suddenly, your whole energy shifts. Because elegance isn't always in the dress, it's in the details. I once worked with a client named Margaret, 62 years old, practical to her core. She smiled at me and said, "I don't need handbags or heels anymore. I just want to be comfortable." I smiled back and said, "All right, Margaret. Today I'm not changing your outfit. I'm just going to add a few small touches, a pair of tiny gold hoops, a turquoise silk scarf, and some new flats. Now, take a look in the mirror." She turned, looked at herself, and then laughed. "I can't believe how different I look. It's like I just woke up." Exactly. Because women over 50 don't need to chase trends. We've lived enough life to know what really matters. It's not about following fashion. It's about curating your own story through small, thoughtful details. A structured leather bag, not too big, in a soft, earthy tone, says to the world, I'm grounded. I know who I am. A well-made pair of shoes that fits just right turns every step into a quiet statement of confidence. And a silk scarf. Oh, I call it the gentle magic. It can brighten your face, soften your neckline, or simply add a whisper of grace to your whole outfit. The price tag doesn't matter. What matters is how you choose it, how you care for it, and the quiet pride you feel when you wear it. Each accessory should reflect who you are today: mature, elegant, but still playful. A woman with stories to tell, and a sparkle that can't be faked. So next time you walk out the door, holding your favorite bag, wearing shoes that love your feet, and a scarf that dances gently in the breeze, you'll feel something shift inside. No one needs to say a word, you'll just know. I still look beautiful. I'm still here. I'm still living fully. And that's when everything changes: your walk, your gaze, even your smile. Because confidence isn't loud. It's quiet, steady, and completely magnetic. And that's the beauty of it. After all the small details, what truly makes a woman unforgettable is her presence. Confidence isn't in your face. It's in the way you walk and hold your head. Once heard a saying that I'll never forget: when a woman walks into a room, people might notice her age, but her presence can make them forget it completely. And it's absolutely true. You may not have the same figure you had at 25, or the same smooth skin you had at 30. But the energy you carry, the way you walk, the way you smile, the look in your eyes, can light up an entire room. I remember one morning during a fitting session with a client named Karen, 58 years old. She said softly, I don't wear dresses anymore. When I look in the mirror, I just feel strange. I smiled and said, Karen, it's not the dress that feels strange. It's the way you're standing. So I asked her to try this stand tall. Roll your shoulders back. Relax your neck. Lift your chin, just a little dot, and within seconds, everything about her shifted. Her body was saying something new, something powerful. I'm confident. I'm still here. Women at any age are beautiful when they carry themselves like they know their worth. You don't need designer labels or heavy makeup for that. True presence shows up in the way you move, slow but steady, the way your smile comes naturally, and how your eyes see others with kindness instead of comparison. If you want to look younger, start with how you stand, how you breathe, and how you walk. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Take a deep breath. Then smile. That alone changes everything: your posture, your face, your energy. I've seen hundreds of women transform not through clothes, but through how they show up. Because a woman with presence always has a story of pain, loss, resilience, and quiet strength. That, to me, is the highest form of style. And here's a little ritual I tell all my clients every morning. Stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say, I'm alive, and I'm beautiful enough for today. When you truly believe that, everyone else will too. Because inner confidence always finds a way to shine through, in your walk, your eyes, and your smile. And when that confidence returns, something magical happens. You start wanting to take better care of yourself, to move, to stretch, to feel alive again. Because a healthy, strong body isn't just beauty, it's the foundation of every great style. A healthy body is the most beautiful jewel you can wear. Once asked a 70-year-old woman who looked absolutely radiant, what's your secret? Some special diet? A strict workout routine? She smiled gently and said, no, dear. I just never abandoned my body. I'll never forget that. See, after 50, so many women forget that the body doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be cared for. You don't need a flat stomach or a tiny waist. What you really need is strength, flexibility, and the energy to do what you love, go where you want, and wear what makes you feel alive. One of my clients, Helen, 59, used to sigh every time she looked in the mirror. I don't look good in anything anymore, she'd say. I guess it's just age. But after talking with her for a while, I realized the issue wasn't her clothes, it was her energy. She worked all day, took care of her grandkids, barely moved, ate whatever was quick, and stayed up too late. Her body had stopped being her friend, so I asked her to start small. Take a 15-minute walk every morning. No running needed. Drink a glass of warm water with a slice of lemon, stretch gently before bed, and most importantly, listen to her body instead of pushing it. 3 months later, Helen came back glowing. Her skin was fresh, her eyes were brighter, and she walked with a new kind of lightness. She said, I haven't lost much weight, but I feel like I've come back to life. That's the secret, really. At 50 or 60, we don't need to train like we did when we were young. We just need to keep the rhythm of life flowing. When your blood circulates, your muscles stay soft and your breath becomes steady, your skin glows, your mood lifts, and suddenly, you feel beautiful again. I always tell my clients, no dress will ever make you look more beautiful than your own healthy posture. When you feel strong, everything about you brightens. And that's when you realize, caring for your body isn't vanity, it's self-respect. Because this body has been with you through everything, through work, love, loss, motherhood, laughter, and heartbreak, and it's still here, standing strong. It deserves to be loved, cared for, and cherished. And once your body feels nourished, something wonderful happens. Your energy starts flowing back into your heart. You feel lighter, more peaceful, and yes, open again to joy, to love, and even to a little romance. Love after 50. It's not about finding, it's about opening your heart. Once had a client named Linda, 58. She'd been divorced for over a decade, living on her own, career steady, kids grown. One day, while I was adjusting a dress for her in the fitting room, she looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, I don't know if anyone could ever find me attractive again. I looked at her for a moment, smiled, and said, Linda, the question isn't who finds you attractive, it's whether you do. She went quiet, and so did I. Because I knew that's not an easy thing to answer. By the time we reach 50, most of us have lived. We've loved, been hurt, sacrificed, built, and endured. And somewhere along the way, many of us forget how to love ourselves with the same gentleness we once gave so freely to others. We're so used to taking care of everyone else that, when we finally look in the mirror, we sometimes forget to ask, what about me? Love at this age isn't loud or dramatic. It's quieter, a smile while making morning coffee, the joy of slipping into that red dress, the soft spark when someone looks at you with genuine warmth, even for just a moment. And most of all, it's the peace that comes when you stop being afraid of being judged. When you start loving yourself again, the world begins to respond differently. I've seen so many women over 50 become more radiant than ever, not because they're chasing youth, but because they're finally owning their maturity. Linda is one of them. After a few months of embracing her new style, taking care of herself, she came back glowing. Her eyes were brighter, her smile softer. She told me she'd just come back from a solo trip, met new people, and that a kind man had asked her to a concert. She smiled, shy and luminous, like a woman rediscovering her own heartbeat. I don't know what the future holds, she said, but I feel alive again. And that's what real love after 50 looks like. It's not about finding someone to complete you. It's about rediscovering the part of your heart that's been quietly waiting inside you all along. Love at this stage isn't about chasing. It's about being. Living slower, deeper, truer. Sometimes, even smiling at yourself in the mirror is an act of love. Because at the end of the day, your most loyal lifelong partner is you. And when your heart is nourished with kindness, you'll see it clearly. Age doesn't dull your light. It simply teaches you how to shine differently and more beautifully than ever. Presence when confidence speaks before you say a word. He once attended a fashion event, a room filled with young faces, bright lights, and the usual noise of glamour. And then, a woman walked in. She wasn't dressed to impress, just a simple black dress, her silver hair loosely tied back, low heels, minimal makeup. But somehow every head turned. Not because she was young or perfect, but because her presence lit up the entire room. I remember whispering to myself, that's the kind of beauty no cream or lipstick can create. Women over 50 hold a quiet kind of power, a mix of experience and calm that can't be faked. After you've lived through storms, judgments, comparisons, something changes. You stop needing to prove anything to anyone. And in that exact moment, true confidence begins. I once worked with a woman named Margaret, 62, a retired literature teacher. At first, she was humble to a fault, apologizing even when talking about her own life. But after a few styling sessions, I noticed a shift. Her posture grew taller, her voice warmer and more grounded. One day she said, I realized I've spent years dressing and moving as if I needed permission to exist. Now, I just want to show up for myself. That hit me hard. Because that's exactly what presence is. It's not something you perform, it's something you live. When you're truly confident, you don't try to attract anyone. Your energy simply does it for you. Confidence is laughing loudly even when your wrinkles show. It's wearing red when everyone else fades into beige. It's standing tall and saying, I'm here, and I'm enough. Remember this when you walk into a room, people don't see your age, they see your energy. That energy lives in how you walk, how you look at others, how you listen, and how you treat yourself. And when that presence shines through, everything you wear, from your earrings to your old favorite shoes, suddenly looks elegant, because you make it so. It's not the outfit that makes the woman. It's the woman who gives life to everything she wears. The art of reinvention style of your most radiant self. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, is there really anything left for me to change? If you have, let me tell you something, the answer is always yes. Not to look younger, but to be reborn. to rediscover yourself, again. I once worked with a woman named Susan, 61, a retired nurse. She came to see me in a simple gray outfit, her hair tied back, her face kind but tired. When I asked what kind of style she liked, she smiled softly and said, "Oh, I've never really thought about that. I usually just wear whatever's practical." And I understood. So many women at this stage of life stop dressing for themselves. After years of caring for everyone else. But when I gently handed her a turquoise jacket to try on, something magical happened. She slipped it on, stood a little taller, touched the fabric, and said quietly, "I didn't think this color would suit me, but it actually makes me happy." That right there was the moment of rebirth. Reinvention doesn't mean changing who you are. It means allowing yourself to try something new. Just because it feels good. Reinvention in style isn't about buying more clothes or chasing trends. It's about refreshing your spirit. Maybe it's a silk scarf in a color you've never worn. Maybe it's a softer haircut, a brighter lipstick, or simply a confident smile in the morning mirror. Each of these small choices whispers, "I'm still here, and I choose to live beautifully." When you allow yourself to reinvent, people feel it. Not just through how you look, but through the energy you carry. You become magnetic, not because of appearance, but because of self-love that's come full circle. I like to think of it this way. Your 20s are for discovery. Your 30s are for building. Your 40s are for responsibility. And your 50s and beyond are for rebirth. Because now you're free from comparison, from old expectations, from the need to prove. You get to choose again, to try again, to smile at the woman in the mirror and think, "I'm still evolving." And that's beautiful. I truly believe this: every woman blooms at least 3 times in her life. And the most beautiful bloomie's the one she chooses for herself. So here we are, at the end of this little journey together. A journey not about fighting time, but about walking with it, gracefully, confidently, and beautifully. If there's one thing I want you to remember after today's video, it's this: your 50s and 60s are not the end of the story. They're the beginning of a brand new chapter. A chapter where you don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. No more racing against youth, no more squeezing yourself into someone else's standards. You just get to be you, a woman who has loved deeply, lived fully, been hurt, healed, and still shines so bright. Because real beauty isn't in smooth skin or dark hair, it's in that spark in your eyes when you smile. It's in the way you carry yourself with quiet confidence. It's in the gentleness you now show to your own heart. Remember, taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's an act of love. And when you love yourself enough, the world starts reflecting that love right back at you, in the most beautiful ways. If this video made you feel a little inspired, a little warmer inside, or simply made you want to look in the mirror and smile, hit that like button, so I know these words found their way to someone's heart out there. And if you'd love to keep walking with me on this journey, this bold after 50 journey, where we learn to live with confidence, dress with elegance, and shine from experience, then don't forget to subscribe and turn on the little bell, because here at Bold After 50, we don't fear aging. We only fear not living fully. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll keep exploring the art of living beautifully, confidently, and gracefully, at every age.